Like I said in my Batman Begins review, I don't own an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3. The only modern game console that I own is the Wii, and in spite of all the crap that the Wii gets, I like it. I like my Wii. It's got plenty of good games for it, and I have fun with it. And to be honest, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 really don't have a lot of games that interest me, or a lot of features that interest me. I mean, most of the major releases for those consoles are big first-person shooters, or the occasional RPG that I don't give a crap about. The one game that came out for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 that really interested me was Batman Arkham Asylum. I was really bummed when that game didn't get released for the Wii. I remember I went and read the Arkham Asylum comic books, Living Hell on a Serious House on Serious Earth. I looked up every Let's Play I could find. I pretty much did everything except play the actual game. And then earlier this year, I set up a Steam account because my old roommate sent me a free copy of Portal. And I was browsing Steam during the summer, and I saw on the Steam summer sale, Batman Arkham Asylum for 75% off. On one hand, I was kind of hesitant about giving out my credit card information on Steam because you hear all those horror stories about identity theft. On the other hand, I'd been waiting 2 years to play this game, and you're not going to find a better deal than $7.50. So I downloaded the game off Steam, and then the troubles began. So I buy the game, and late the next afternoon, the game finally finishes downloading. I start playing it. I play for about an hour, or however long it takes to get out of the intensive treatment building for the first time, and the game crashes. And no matter how many times I restart the game keeps crashing at the same spot. My old roommate was a computer science major, so I asked him, I sent him a text, my game keeps crashing, what do I do? And he says it's because your computer's graphics drivers are out of date. So I go to Dell's website, I look for some new drivers for my PC. I find some graphics drivers that are like 100 times better than the ones my computer is currently using, and I go to download them. The website doesn't actually download the drivers, instead it downloads a program called the Download Manager, and no matter what I do, I can't get the Download Manager to work. So I go back to the website and I figure, okay, maybe now that I've got the Download Manager, maybe now I can download the drivers. So I go to download the drivers, and it downloads the Download Manager again. At this point I decided maybe it would be good to actually read the instructions on the website. The website's instructions say, add a driver to the download list, and then run the Download Manager. So I add the downloads to the download list, I run the Download Manager. It still doesn't do anything. The program still doesn't do jack crap. So I try downloading the drivers from the download list, and it downloads the Download Manager again. I see an option marked Download and Install, and that option downloads a program called the Install Manager, and the Install Manager won't even run. After fiddling with this for Lord knows how long, downloading about a dozen frickin' download managers to my computer, I call my roommate again and I'm like, I can't get these drivers, can you give me some help here? So I can send him a list of my PC specifications, and he goes online, he goes on the interwebs, and he finds the drivers that are the most up-to-date graphics drivers that are compatible with my PC. And he sends me a link, he says, here, download these, these will get your game working perfectly. So I follow the link he sends me, it goes back to that Dell website. I try to download these new drivers that are compatible with my machine, and it downloads the Download Manager again. And no matter what I do, it still downloads a Download Manager without downloading the actual drivers. At this point, my roommate and I had pretty much figured out that Dell's website is specifically designed to not work, and he says screw it, and he just downloads the drivers himself. I don't know how he does this, and he attaches the drivers to an email and sends them to me that way. So all I have to do is click on the drivers, they install onto my machine, I run Windows Update to make sure everything on my computer is up to date, and it is. And he says to me, if these drivers don't work, nothing will. These are the best drivers that you can get for your PC. So I download the new drivers, I do the updates, I run the game again, and it still crashes. At this point, I had been fiddling with the damn thing for like 4 hours now. I was tired and I was getting very frustrated. My computer science major roommate was out of ideas, so he gives up. And I'm tired, I give up. I decide, I'm just going to send a message to Steam in the morning because it's night at this point, and I just give up from there. So it was right about this time that I had long passed the point of frustration when I get a message from Steam. It says, "Your game has now finished downloading." I naturally found this confusing since I had been told that the game finished downloading 5 hours ago! So I run the game again, and it works perfectly fine. It turns out the problem was not that my PC had out-of-date software or that my computer is a piece of crap. It's that the game hadn't finished downloading even though I had been told the game finished downloading. I felt like such a moron after that happened. So the next day I start playing the game. I have to turn the graphics on their lowest setting for the game to run at its full speed. But it works fine. I play the game, I'm loving it. Now it's one of my favorite games. Except summer vacation has to end and I have to go back to school. And my first night at school I boot up the game again because even though I've beaten it, I'm still enthralled with it. And immediately I notice that something's wrong. The game's running super slow for some reason, and the graphics are still on their lowest settings, so my computer settings are still the same, except the game is now running very slowly. I run a benchmark test, which pretty much tells you how many frames per second the game is running, and at home, the game runs like 65 or 75 frames per second, I forget which one. I run a benchmark test at school, and the game's running at 24 frames per second. Like less than half the speed it's supposed to run. It doesn't take me long to figure out it's because of the internet connection. Because at home I have a perfect internet connection, and at school it doesn't matter how good the internet connection is, I'm still sharing it with a ton of kids who are streaming movies and playing online games. Hell, I live next door to a guy who plays Minecraft and League of Legends 12 hours a day. So the network's slow. But the thing that confused me is Arkham Asylum is a single-player game. You wouldn't think that, why does the internet connection make the game run slower? So eventually I asked my roommate, at first I think it's because of either Steam or because of Windows Live, because for some stupid reason Arkham Asylum requires you to be signed into Windows Live, or else it boots you back to the game's main menu. So I asked my roommate, what's causing the problem, how do I fix this? He's like, "You don't fix it. That's digital rights management that's causing the game to run slowly." Just friggin' great. So digital rights management keep making my Arkham Asylum game run slower, not doing anything about the half the kids on this campus with illegal copies of Captain America on their computers. Just great. I'm never gonna buy anything off Steam again after this fiasco. When I get Arkham City, I'm gonna get it on hard disk. And I asked my roommate if when I get Arkham City, if I get it on hard disk, am I still going to have this problem of it running slowly if I don't have a good internet connection? And he says yes. That's how digital rights management works. Just great. In fact, you can actually see the effects of the digital rights management lag in this video because I've got footage from the game playing since I don't want to put my face on the screen and I don't really want to show you just a still image for however long this rant goes on. Anyone who's played the game right now, you can look at the screen right now and notice how slow it's moving in comparison to how it's supposed to move. And part of that is because of FRAPS, because FRAPS is a piece of shit, but this is how the game runs when I try playing it on campus. It's so slow. Every now and then when I go onto the Escapist, I see people debating whether or not PC games are the future of video games, whether consoles are someday going to be obsolete. Their logic is PC games, you can cram more programming into it. I hope not. I hope PC games aren't the future, and you know why? Because consoles are convenient. When you buy a game console, you buy consoles for the game. You buy the game, you stick it in the console, and the console plays the game. It's not a 4-hour-long freaking project just to get one game to work, and you don't have to cross your fingers that the game even runs properly because your computer software is up to date or your internet connection and all that shit. You just put the game in the console and you play it. And I'm sorry if this little rant or whatever you want to call it, video log, makes me sound like a cynical bastard, but it just irritates me. You buy a game you expect that it works, you know, it just irritates me. So there's my 2 cents on PC gaming and my personal experience with it. I don't really know what the point of me going on this little rant or whatever was, but hopefully you got a laugh out of the tale of my epic incompetence. Thanks for watching, and well, have a nice day.